Hello folks, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. And meanwhile, I have actually fitted the exhaust manifolds onto the TVR, or also called the headers. Now, I know I misspelled completely the word headers before, and thank you for correcting me for that. Although I did look it up, but I must have looked at the wrong place. So anyway, besides the header story, there was some other good comments that I received from all of you. And one of the comments was that the bolts that we were using on the exhaust manifold were not the right ones, or they were the right ones, and all that. And there was a bit of a discussion on the different types, SAEs or European metric packs. Now, I did check all this just to make sure 100% that what I did was right. Now, according to the Ford manual, the maintenance manual, those are actually 5/16 UNC bolts -18, and that's exactly what I threaded the holes with. Now, I don't know what the previous owner did, but he might have put in the wrong bolts, and it looked like he has kind of placed almost like a metric bolt in it. So I think that's what happened. The wrong bolts were in from the start, but the original bolts are 5/16. So besides that, now it's time to work and mount the mufflers or the pipes. Now, I'm having to clean up some of the pipes, and you'll see that, especially the rear end, where I'm going to polish the stainless steel. But also, I need to adjust some of those tubes, and I'll show you how we can do that. And for that, there's a couple of tools we're going to use. So let's start with, first of all, the tubes and see how they're going to fit. But before we do that, let me give you a little peek underneath the car where the headers are. And here they are, the two header pipes. You can see the heat wrapping on both sides. Now they're of equal length. Before, with the old ones, one side was shorter than the other one, so that wasn't right. It's a pretty tight fit. There's not a lot of space left and right between the frame, the tubular frame, and the pipes, but it doesn't touch. That's good, because otherwise you get this ugly sound when it touches the chassis. Now it's a matter of getting these pipes on to build further down the mufflers. Now these pipes are going to go on like this, and then of course I will have to hold that up with these rubbers here, and then this side will then go into the main muffler. Now the problem is, one of these pipes that I have is actually having a bit of an issue, and the problem that I'm having on one of the pipes is that when it was on the car before, the pipe was really pinched, so it's deformed by this clamp, so it was hard to get it off. But also now it's going to be very hard to put the other pipe inside. So now I have to smoothen this up, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually dented in, as you can see, because of that spanner that was on it. So now we need to straighten that up as much as we can. And there's a couple of ways of doing that. You can use a tool like this, which is what we call a pipe expander. So if you're turning it, you will see the diameter will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you have it on the right size. Now the way to use that is by inserting the right size, and they come in different sizes, by the way. You insert it actually into the pipe like so, and then you turn it, and then you're going to stretch this pipe open until the right size. But of course this pipe is not straight anymore, it's already been dented, so I will have to get the dents out of it first of all. And the way I'm going to do that is with another way, with using an old socket that I greased up as much as I could, and I'm going to knock that in there, and that's a socket that fits more or less into it, so it's about the same size. In other words, to get the dents out of the pipe, I'm going to use a strong socket, and I greased it in, and this is the 33 mil socket. You might have to find one that fits your specific pipe, and then I'm going to try to knock that in. Now this might be a little bit hard to show you that. Now don't knock it too far, because you may not be able to get it out afterwards, so I'm going to do it little bit by little bit. All right. So I just placed it on a piece of wood, so it's a bit easier. that's the way to get it out. Knock it left, right, and then it will come out. But now let me push it in a bit more. And then I'm going to try to start knocking on the sides here to knock out the dents if I can, but I think it's still a bit too early. So a little bit more. So I think now it passed the dents, so I can actually feel it, how far that goes. So now I can start trying to get the dents out. So let's see if we can get the dents out as much as we can. I don't knock very hard, I'm just going to go around. All right. Still a bit here. So once all the dents are out, it should be fairly easy to remove the socket, and that's why I'm greasing it. There we go. So now this is a much smoother inner surface, and now we can see if we can fit the pipe. If we cannot fit the pipe yet, then we use the expander to expand this pipe a bit. So let's see if it fits or not. Well, it starts to fit, right? It isn't on yet, but it starts to fit. So I might have to open it up a little bit with the expander, and then we should be good to go. All right. So let's use the expander and open that up a bit. So I'm getting in the expander, which is about the same size, and I'm just going to check how deep it goes in. Now, these expanders, they come in different price ranges. The one I have here is a, let me say it, El Cheapo version. So if you really need to expand stainless steel pipes a lot, then I would not recommend that you use this one. Then I would go for a better quality version, because these legs tend to bend on the cheap versions. But for a little bit of expansion, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Let's see if we can get this done. I think that should be good enough. So let's see if this is going to fit now, and I think it will. And I'm going to push it all the way to the end, and then I'm going to mark it so I know where the end is. I'm going to do the same for the other pipe. And here it is. I'm going to push it in all the way to the end, and also give it a marker. All right, now what I notice is that the pipes, both of them, are actually coming together here, right? So I have no gap, and that isn't right, because on the actual muffler, and let me zoom in a bit for you so you can see it better. Now, here is the muffler, and you can actually see that this is pretty wide open, and the two pipes, they are sitting together. Before that was not the case, now it is the case. So I will have to make sure that I can put this straight. Now, of course you could say, well, then, just, make them lower the pipes so you have the right space. That is, of course, an option, and then you can slide that in, and then I can try to push it up. That's an alternative of doing it, but I don't like to do that too much, but let's give it a try anyway. Are we just looking at options to put things together now, right? All right, so let's see. It isn't all that simple always. Mufflers can be a bit of a pain in the butt to put together. All right, so once we got this, we could now try to, you know, move this up. Oh, see, this one isn't fitting. So I don't like this method. I think this is a bit too clumsy to do. So I'm going to do this slightly different. So what I'm going to do is measure the distance between the two pipes, and then I'm going to use a piece of wood to put in between the pipes. And I already have it pre-cut, so now I can put this in between when the pipes are in their real space. So I will slide this in here, the pipes will open up, and that way I can then put the other muffler on. So I placed that piece of wood, which is the right size of the opening between the two pipes here. I have it aligned, so now that should fit fairly easily and without too much effort. There we go. All right, and then we might need to turn it a bit. And once we have the clamps in place, that will be all hunky-dory. So I can check the markers, how deep it's in, and that's all the way in, and I can check it here as well. So this is how I mount the pots, and sometimes that is the issue with new pipes or headers, that everything is not exactly in the same place as the previous exhaust. But by doing it like this, that works pretty well. And over time, these pipes will adjust anyway, and they will settle. So the next thing we're going to do is to clean up the pipes in the back, the part that sticks out of the car. And as you can see, I did not blast that area, but it doesn't look very shiny. So we're going to polish that up. And for that one, I'm going to use some abrasive paper. I'm going to start with a 400, then I'm going to go to an 800, and then I'm going to go to a 1200 grit. And that should be normally enough. If it's not, I might go to a 2000. I will actually wet sand it, and I'm going to use WD-40. I always say this backwards for one or the other reason. And maybe my brains are frozen for the moment because it's pretty cold outside and we've got a lot of snow, as you can tell, right? Anyhow, and once that's done, then I'm going to polish it up with something the wife is using in the kitchen. This is just stainless steel polisher, and that should give me a pretty nice gloss on the pipe. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with this pipe so you can have a good look. This one looks a little bit better. And then we're going to do it all around the pipes, and then we're going to mount the muffler onto the car finally. So we have already trial fitted everything, and then we should be good to install the rest. Now what we don't have yet are these little supporting rubbers, you know, the two little things that I showed you before. It still hasn't arrived by mail, but okay, I don't mind that. I will just put a bolt in for now and then see once we get it. So let's start. And as you can see, the pipe here looks pretty dull. There's some scratches on it. Now normally you should be able to sand them out, but I'm not going to grind that deep anyway. So let me get my 400 grit, and then we just start doing that. I'm just going to spray some WD-40 on it, and then we start to sand. Now this might take a little bit of time. All right. So let's wipe it clean. It starts to look better, but we ain't there yet. So this may not be perfect yet, and if you have a sander, you can do it with a sander, but I just did it by hand. So now I'm going to apply some of this stainless steel cleaner that ladies use in the kitchen. And hopefully that should just work fine. Try to brush it. And here we go, and it is almost finished. There's still a few little scratches on it, but that doesn't really matter. This is not a concours car, but it looks pretty good if you ask me. So I'm going to do the rest of the exhaust pipe on this side now, and then the other side, the bottom side, and then we'll mount everything. So the pipe is polished, and I think it's quite all right for me. I might do a little bit more afterwards when it's really mounted on the car. But for now, that's good enough. And now it's time to mount and install all the rest of the mufflers and the pipes. So let us start installing these pipes. And I already put the clamps on, so it's a bit easier to put them up. And I'm already going to put it into the rubber, because that prevents me from pulling the rubber too much afterwards. So let me move this to the marker. There we go. I can still turn the band whatever direction I want, so the bolt isn't going to catch anything while we are driving. So let me move that up like so. There we go. I'll also do the second one. All right, here we go. We're going to put our spacer up as well. And this band, I probably might need to turn it upwards. The other way around. I might actually span it like this. That should be good enough like this, and it's easy access. Yeah, let me turn this as well. So now it's time for our little spacer to put it in between. And for that, you'll have to open up the pipes a little bit. There we go. I don't know if it's in the right space yet, but we'll find that out very soon. Okay. This pipe needs to move a bit. Okay, that looks good. Marker, oh, it has to go in a bit. There we go. Okay. And let's see if the opening fits. So here's the muffler. And it's just a little bit too much. So I need to move that a little bit backwards. All right. Let's see. A little bit more. Okay, let's check it out again. That's perfect. So now I'm going to put the bands up, or the clamps, and then we can mount all this as well. All right, so let's see. Okay, that's all the way to the end. The clamps are on, so I'm going to leave this for now. Well, in fact, I don't need it anymore. But I'm not going to lock these down yet. So now the last segment is going to go in. I've got the spanners in place, but I will actually support the muffler a little bit. And we'll see. So I have another support here for the muffler, and let's see if we can get it in. All right. Let's see how easy that will be, or how difficult it will be. All right, let's see if we can get that in. All right, that's nicely in. Now I need to turn that a bit, and I will actually support it here for now, because I'm still missing these rubber connectors here. So I'm gonna move that up as much as I can. Oh man, this is terrible. Let me just do it the other way around. Oh, it's not gonna drop down completely, so I want to straighten that up a bit. All right, so that should be about it. And that will have to go up higher up, that's a given. But now we have the whole muffler system put together, and this I think is looking very good. Yep, it still looks good over here. It ain't touching anything, so that is good. I will have to mount this metal support bracket here, and here I need these rubbers, which I don't have yet. They are still in the mail. Unfortunately, with the snow, everything has been delayed. So I'm just gonna put the bracket up, and then we'll see what we do with the rest as soon as we have it. But I'm not gonna wait for it. All right, let's see if we can actually fit this guy. There we go. And I'm going to use a little bit of Loctite on my nut here, so it doesn't get loose. So I got some Loctite on it, and now we'll put the other washer up as well, and probably I will be in the way to do it. All right, let's see if we can get to it like this. I want to make sure it's straight. Yeah, that's about it, I think. That's the kind of rubber I'm going to need to be installed right there. And this is not the right one. This is not strong enough. I have two of them on order, so I expect them to come in actually tomorrow, hopefully, if the snow isn't too bad. But for now, I'm going to hold it up with some tie wraps. And once we have it, we'll install it. I'm not going to drive the car anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So now I know that the height is going to be about the same, so I can pull that up a little bit. All right, that's one. And now I can release my dog's collar. All right, and I'll probably put the second tie wrap up. Oh, it's really cold in here now. And I can't turn the heater on because it makes too much noise, and then I can't talk to you guys. So let me see if this is more or less right. It probably will need to go up even a little bit more. All right. I think that's about it. All right. And the only thing left now is to tighten up all these spanners or these clamps And then we should be good. Okay, so now we can release this guy. And then we will lock these in place. We have come to the end of this video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, although I have to say I didn't enjoy the cold. But the muffler system is now on, except the 2 support rubbers in the back, and as soon as I have them, I will put them up. I can't let you listen to the exhaust, how it sounds for the moment, because I still don't have the cooling system sorted out. I'm still waiting parts from the UK, but as soon as that is done, we're going to do a test ride with the car, and then we double check the muffler again. And I better let you listen to the sound. I know I have actually 2 pots in it, or 2 mufflers. Some people will say you should only have 1, remove the last 2. But guys, I can't do that because I will never pass MOT if it makes too much noise. So, the next video will be all about the cooling system. So thank you for viewing, and please make comments whenever you want, and correct me where I'm wrong. Bye-bye.